Welcome back, welcome back. Rav Mechel of Zlotchev famously said that there's two things you should never worry about. You should never worry about things that you can do something about, and you should never worry about things that you can't do anything about. What he meant to say was that if you're in a situation where you're able to do something about that situation, then do it. Don't worry about it. Do it. Do what you have to do. If your situation is impossible for you to change, there's nothing to do, but why worry? What's worrying going to help? I think a lot of us get stuck on this second point. We're in a situation where we feel that there's nothing we can do, and we're not happy about it. And it's very easy to say, okay, so don't worry about it, but what do I do? I'm in a situation, the circumstances of my life situation I'm not happy with, I'm concerned about it. Why worry? I think a lot of us have difficulty with that part of it. I once heard from a drasha from Reb Zelig Pliskin where he said, in every single situation that a person has, every single situation that a person is given in life, one of two changes are possible. Either you can change the situation, or if you can't change the situation, you could change yourself. And it's the second part, changing yourself, that I want to focus on today. What does it mean to change yourself? How do you change yourself? How does change manifest when you're trying to change yourself? And how does that help you deal with the situation that you're unhappy with? So when we talk about changing ourselves, there's really two different ways that it's possible to change ourselves. There's really two different pathways we could take to make this change. The first way we're going to call transformational change, where I change by transforming myself. I actually change, which means either I'm changing my habits, I'm changing what I do, I'm changing who I am at my core, I'm changing my behaviors. But the point is that I'm changing, I'm becoming a different person than I was before. That's one way to change. The second way to change we'll call interpretive change, where I do not change at all. My habits are not changing, my behaviors maybe are not even changing. We're not necessarily changing who we are, but we're changing how we see. We're changing our perception. We reframe what we're going through, and we try to begin to ascribe meaning to our situation. We try to assign meaning to what it is that we are going through. Our mindset changes, while our situation doesn't change at all. And while we might not change, our relationship to what we're going through, that does change. Now, there's a famous line, your mentality creates your reality. Now, both these changes, whether it's transformational change where you yourself are changing, or interpretive change where you're not changing, but your relationship to your situation is changing, both of these changes are both growth oriented. In both of these changes, you are growing, and thereby adapting to how you're going to deal with the situation. You're going to be better equipped to deal with the situation, but there's two different paths, right? As Zelig Pliskin said, either, in every situation, either you could change the situation, and if you can, fantastic, change the situation. But if you can't change the situation, you could still change yourself. And you could change yourself in one of two ways. You could change yourself actually changing, you could change yourself by changing your behaviors, by changing your habits, by changing who you are. But sometimes that's not the right path. Sometimes the change that's needed is reframing the situation, giving the situation meaning, changing your relationship with what you're going through. So now you're experiencing it differently. You know, Rav Soloveitchik used to say, a Yid doesn't ask lama, a Yid asks lima. A Yid doesn't ask lama, why? Why is this happening to me? Why is my life this way? Why am I going through this? A Yid asks lima, for what? For what am I going through this? What is the reason that I'm going through this? I mean, we have to stop asking ourselves why and replace why with what. Instead of why is my life this way? What can I do to change it today? What can I do differently? Or what meaning can I give this situation? What purpose is there that I'm going through this situation? How can I give it purpose? How can I give it meaning? If I can change the situation, great, fantastic. We need to try to change the situation. But if not, you could change yourselves. There's one other aspect of this that I want to talk about. Sometimes we feel, okay, fine. Yes, I understand. If I could change the situation, great. If not, I have to change myself. But I don't have the time. The funds are due in 3 days. If I don't come up with the money in 3 days, it's a problem. I don't have the time for change. What do I do right now? What do I do right now? And the answer is, we need to daven. We need to daven. You know, a Yid, a chassid, once came to the Kotzker Rebbe, and he said, Rebbe, the doctors gave him a week to live. The doctors gave him 1 week. He says, Rebbe, 1 week. 1 week is such a short amount of time. It's hopeless. The situation is completely hopeless. And the Kotzker Rebbe tells him, he says, look what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did in 1 week. Before the week started, there was no world. There was nothing. And after 1 week, we had the entire world. In 6 days, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created an entire world. You know what 3 days is to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? You know what 1 day is to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? It's beyond our limited comprehension. But that's something that we have to realize. That when the time seems too short to change, and we need to go supernatural, that's when we have to plug into tefillah. That's when we have to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help us change. And that davening itself is transformational. That davening itself will help us reframe the situation and help us connect better and attribute meaning to what it is that we are going through. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us all a lot of siyata d'shmaya to be able to deal with the challenges that come up, the challenges that all of us have, and the changes that we need to make.